So we have two main projects, our high purity manganese, which is sourced right here in the Eyre Peninsula in SA, and the second is high purity alumina, and that's an industrial feedstock based in Perth. But essentially both products are a 4,9 material, so it's 99.99, and there's not much more pure than that. And both go into the battery chemistry. But firstly, if I can just talk about the board. So ChemX has, it's blessed with a very strong board. A board that's got a reputation for creating about $500 million companies. I want to acknowledge Warwick Hazeldine here, former chair of Global Lithium. And also we've got ex-Tesla, now Rivian, Tara, Alvane Vorster, also experienced from converting raw Australian materials into high-value products. Stephen Struble with a broking background, and myself, a 20-year career with Tier 1 miners, including Rio, BHP, and Roy Hill. I was the refinery manager for Olympic Dam for a period of time. So back to the projects. High purity manganese is a key ingredient in the electric vehicle battery, and we see it almost at the foot of the exponential curve in terms of its demand. More and more chemistries are changing from high nickel to more medium manganese, and it gives extra range in your electric vehicle as well as thermal stability, so you don't have those issues. So it's a very strong demand that we see ramping up, particularly around lithium manganese iron phosphate batteries, which really holds sufficient energy density for that extra range, and it's about a third of the price. So the affordability is maximised. So it's a very strong proposition. On the HPA side, it's used in battery separators as well. It's used in micro LEDs. So consider charging your watch only once a month. That's micro LED technology. Very low power demand, game changing. So in terms of our processes, the manganese from the Jamison Tank prospect here in Eyre Peninsula, it's a soft blend. It's been overlooked by many over the years. It's not a DSO, but that's to our credit. So it's low comminution, low energy, and it fits within that renewables landscape that is the Eyre Peninsula and SA. On the high purity alumina side, we've just announced 4 nines product, and that is across 66 elements. There's not many who can do better. And in fact, one I can mention is probably Alpha Alumina, Alpha HPA, and that is a $630 million company. If you look at ChemX, we're sub 10 million at this point, but again, I think we're at the foot of that exponential curve. So some very exciting projects and some milestones coming in. The last few months have been extremely busy, but you know, we've completed a capital raise. Our projects are poised. So on the manganese, we're going to do a drill program this summer. Our maiden resource was announced in September, and literally this summer we will double the grade and double the tonnes, and you can probably hold me to that. In terms of our tech, we own 100% of our tech, both on the manganese side in terms of the flow sheet, we own the tenement, and on the high purity alumina side, we own that flow sheet there as well. So that's our technology. There's a patent pending on that, and that should drop in a couple of months' time, so we're fairly excited about that. Strategically though, we've got partners with a company called C4V, who are New York based, inventing lithium battery chemistries, and they're working closely with gigafactories to pre-qualify folk like ourselves, like ChemX. We've also got a strategic MOU with Pure Battery Technologies, and they're building a precursor CAM hub in Kalgoorlie. And those guys have got the nickel and the cobalt, we've got the manganese, so it's a very synergistic relationship. So in terms of next steps and why invest in ChemX, we own our own tech. We're poised with a very strong board, very strong management team. Our projects are advanced, our milestones are on track. We're literally ready to go for the next drill campaign to double that grade and double that tonnes. Our high purity alumina plant in Perth, we're constructing our pilot plant now with commissioning to commence in Q1 next year, whereupon we'll do some pre-qualification with some very big Europeans, very friendly Japanese and Korean institutions. So we're really looking forward to first quarter, second quarter next year. So we believe the fundamentals are strong. The manganese is a growing ingredient in batteries and will be forevermore. The high purity alumina, like some here today, it's largely Russian produced, and it goes into sapphire glass, synthetic sapphire, much like the Swatch folk. It's an everyday thing, iPhone camera lenses, micro LEDs. So it's there, you don't see it, but it retails for about 20,000 US a tonne. and we can make it for significantly less. In fact, our feedstock's around $1,000 a tonne. So even with energy, labour, there's a fairly significant margin there that we're looking at. So fantastic event. Thank you for your time. I'd encourage you to look at ChemX quite closely and keep an eye over the next 6 months. Blake.
I mean, I've got one. So you mentioned that you're producing the bee's knees pretty much of HPA. It's very, very pure, and that obviously gets a price premium. But what do you think in terms of like the upcoming catalyst? And it's a proprietary thing, so you know, very much tech focused. What is going to be the catalyst that you think is going to really like move the market on that? Is it the first production from the pilot plant, or is it going to be something else?
Yeah, thanks, Danica. I think our pilot plant is going to commission in around Q1, Q2, and that's really going to produce those samples for qualifying. You know, as we stand at the moment, we're 4 nines across 66 elements, and there's not many who can attest to that. So I think once we've got qualifying samples in and, you know, we get those green ticks back, I think there'll be some fairly lucrative contracts. Defence, lasers, optics, battery separators and EVs, it's all of those uses. So
close the gap on the market cap between some of those peers that you mentioned before that were quite high.
That's what I'm alluding to, yes, yeah.